I mean, in a sense, all the characters have to be in me. I mean, because otherwise they can't be in the book. Obviously, some of them more and less. In one way or another, I've either met or been all you know, everybody in there, but particularly, obviously, the main characters. I mean, I relate to all of them very strongly, but to the two main characters particularly, obviously, I've been on both sides of that equation, and you know, those are people I understand being. Although, if I had to choose, I would obviously say I was more the narrator than I was Gonzo. Just, I mean, partly because in some ways Gonzo is a quite aggravating person, but I mean, with everything, I didn't. There's not one single person in the book who is drawn directly from life. I simply didn't do that. There are. Well, all of them essentially are composites of people and bits of my imagination, and just kind of, you know, wouldn't it be great if someone was like this, or wouldn't it be hilarious if someone was like this? And I sort of, I really kind of, I want to be quite clear about that, because I don't want anybody to feel they've been parodied. I'm not into sort of silent revenge, or, you know, I know that there are writers who kind of take the name of the parking warden who gave them a ticket when they really didn't want one, and, you know, kind of, when they were attending the birth of their first child or whatever, and they kind of, you know, that person then becomes the serial killer in the next book, and it's not me. I mean, it's a hilarious idea, but I don't think it's fair. So no, I mean, there are bits and bobs of everyone. Everything was very fluid in the process of writing the book. I didn't want to bully characters into doing things they would naturally do, and indeed we talked about characters disappearing from the book, and that in part was because they wouldn't do what they were told, or more specifically, it wasn't natural for them to do something. And there are one or two characters who had to be trimmed back or sort of reshaped from inception. One of the nice things about fiction is that if someone isn't going in the direction that you want them to be going in, you can just reinvent them. Unfortunately, you can't do that with your friends, so obviously, you know, life is more difficult than that. I mean, Richard Washburn, the pencil neck, for example, is somebody that I've worked on quite a lot, because there was a moment when I thought he might evolve into a major bad guy in the story, and there was a moment when I thought he might be, I might combine him with someone else, or he might be unnecessary, or perhaps, you know, and so I was playing with those things all the time, and I mean, the advantage of the novel form is that when you get to the end of the book, you look, and if you think something doesn't work, you unpick it and you put it the way you think it should be, and it looks, to the person who comes to read the book, it looks as if it's always been that way. You know, the great luxury is that it's the sort of opposite of stand-up comedy. You get to be perfect first time, because you work on it for a year.